Should be a good series, this one. Two pretty strong players. I think they both lost their opening games though in this group. So technically not out of it yet because you can have some cool little tiebreakers, but they both need to win this one. So if whoever loses this is definitely out of the group. So pretty important game for both these two guys.
Yep, definitely is. Looks like the first game's going to be on Manchuria here. Lucas going to be spawning into the north of the map, playing as the blue Chinese player. A civilization he's definitely known for playing, and possibly his best civilization. On the other side of the map, we've got LukasL playing the Haranoshone.
Oh
A
wow.
civ that has recently become more and more popular, especially on water maps, as you can go for this dock build, get yourself a little bit of extra eco early, which helps compensate for a lot of Eero's economic weaknesses later in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's certainly an unusual matchup. Definitely don't see this one every day. So be very interesting to see how this plays out. The wood trailer is going to be super important for this dock boom. So it's going to be basically an extra fishing chip. So perhaps that's why he's chosen to go Era on this map.
yeah, the extra 40 wood that he just picked up, definitely going to be really nice for the dock boom. Building a house right now. Second, you usually always want to build the first fishing boat before the house, because it doesn't slow anything down, so that's nice from him. It looks like he had to delete one of the cows, or maybe Lucas deleted it. I think Lucas probably got it and then deleted it, because that disciple otherwise
Oh
would just
no.
die to the hero. So a little bit, LukasL's probably not going to be too happy about that, but not the end of the world as Lucas doesn't get to bring that one home.
Yes. So Luke is going for the 3 villages. So getting that second village down. It's good to see that build back in play. That's always what I used to think of when watching China. It always makes me uncomfortable to see the TP first, even though I know it's a good thing to do. I just like seeing the 3 villages.
Yeah, it's a little bit faster now than the TP build, and especially on a map with a lot of livestock like Manchuria, getting that second village and just having the extra space to fatten up these yaks can be really good. And obviously, yeah, he'll get the extra villager, he'll get the extra garrison spot and shipment point and population, and he can just add in the trading post later on. So yeah, it's good overall for sure.
Yeah,
So sort sorry.
he could do with getting a few more yaks. I'm not sure how many yaks actually spawn on this map. Maybe they toned it down a little bit for DE, but there just seems to be a few less yaks than I'm used to, and that China probably wants. I think he's doing
Um,
okay. He's got 3 at the moment, getting another one in, so that'll be 4.
yeah, as far
He's
as
picking
I
up a few more in the middle
know,
as well. So actually, I think that's okay for him.
yeah, as far as I know, it's pretty. I think it's the same as it was on EP. There's always been a quirk with this map where usually it will spawn 3 sets of 2 yaks along the middle of the map, right? Like one on the west side, one in the middle, one on the east side along the coast. But for whatever reason, just sometimes the map will only spawn 4 yaks in the middle instead of 6, and I think that's what we got this game. So a little bit
All right,
less
okay, that
yaks on the map
makes
then.
sense.
Looks like LukasL's actually eating a couple of these yaks um, as well, trying to get that age up in without idling. I mean, obviously building 4 fishing boats in age 1 taxes your income a little bit, so eating those yaks is kind of a must here. But the 4 fishing boats definitely very worth it.
Yeah, and I think you can probably in this matchup at least you probably have time to add more fishing boats in transition as well. So we can see he's put pretty much everyone there to wood. I think he's just got 1 villager left on food along with the 4 fishing ships. So I'm expecting he'll add a few more of them, or it could possibly be the teepees because you got that safe stagecoach. So I don't know. Yeah, we don't actually see any fishing
Yeah,
ships in queue, so I'm guessing he's looking for those trading posts now,
he's
isn't he?
also walking over this direction. You can see his rally points right next to the TP, so he's probably going to be going for stagecoach, which is fine. You know, sort of like diversifying your economic portfolio, so to speak. You got some on water, some in your villagers, some in your trading posts, and it just gets a little bit harder for your opponent to contest that way. Um, That's good. Plus, once you get Stagecoach up, you can throw those TPs on wood, and that's basically just a free boat every minute, right?
Yeah, yeah, that would actually be pretty cool. I wonder if Lucas is going to do the same and try and get stagecoach, as it's one of those maps where you get yeah, you kind of get a free stagecoach line just for yourself, which is really nice.
Yeah. Looks like Lucas also aging as well. Going to be a little bit slower than the Harano Shone. 4 Vills in the Wonder. Everything looking pretty standard so far. Not mining any gold yet, but this wood could just be for a trading post later on. Although his Explorer's nowhere near there, so I wonder if he's going to be skipping the trading post and actually going for some kind of H2 play.
Yeah, does he have any water options as well? Will he be wanting to ship maybe the two Chinese boats? He
Um,
has it. He does have them.
yeah, he has the option to go for yeah, something to punish this water play. I
I
think
wasn't
what
sure on the
he
pronunciation of them.
the war jugs.
Oh, is that what as war junks? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
the
that's easy to
H2
pronounce. I
boats are
just
war
didn't know the
jugs.
name of.
Yeah, I think
Right.
his plan was kind of to try and like wait outside and catch the war hut with his disciple and his monk, and maybe try and like kill the travois and deny the war hut. I think his disciple ended up getting picked off by the war chief, and the monk not quite able to get the snare there, so that will go down. He'll get some good damage on it though, and he's got 8 Chukunu on the way. I assume he's got a barracks going up, so any extra damage he can get on this will be really good for him. LukasL will have to repair that or risk losing it to an early timing. And LukasL also just now did scout all the villagers on wood. I'm not sure if he scouted the War Academy, but he for sure saw the villagers on wood right here, so he's probably aware of what's coming, especially since Lucas does not have a trading post, and also
Mhm.
like went out of his way to get damage on this war hut.
Yeah, and in fact, we've got that Tet's preemptively calling these the big button. Well, it might have been his idea actually to put on some pressure anyway. I mean, even if China was doing a straight FF, he might wanted to have called these along with the four canyons. Just kind of a nice timing to try and punish any China that's doing a quick age up. But most certainly, if Lucas is going to be putting the pressure on that war hut, then he's going to need to be able to defend that. And four canyons are not going to be enough by themselves, so he does need something else with it. You can see he's training more tomahawks as well. Yeah, so hasn't added any more boats. So just which is probably quite smart because he doesn't have that. Wow,
I
that's
he didn't
that's good scouting.
his flag just spawned here. It looks like because he didn't walk
I mean
up
that
close enough to place it there. So that's a bit of a nice benefit for him with the spawn there.
that's high level
Yeah,
spawning. That
yeah,
is.
yeah. You got to make
I,
sure you spawn it in the right place. Yep.
I mean, so Tet pushing in. I don't think he suspects the HU news just yet. Obviously, he's going to see them now and back up. But obviously, these chews are definitely going to be a lot better than the Tomahawks. In fact, it's a risky play by Lucas trying to get the snare in because he does need his anti-cav still there. He realizes that and pulls back.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucas gonna be holding that aggression fairly comfortably. The question is, like, he doesn't really have units in queue right now. He's got the gold coming in to get a standard army, so he wants to get, like, a decent mass of step riders before he pushes, it looks like, along with that Summer Palace batch. Um, Unfortunately for him, Lacassette's gone full Tomahawks and is not adding any Hyena behind this, it looks like, so those Step Riders not going to be super useful, even though they do have Siege, and they can still snare. Um, yeah, we'll have to see if he
Yeah,
has enough units with this composition to really break through that war hut, which has been repaired as well. But yeah, looks like he's got the snare on the Kanya. Summer Palace Batch popping now behind this. And this is really nice whenever you get in range with the Chukunu. They do such good damage to the Tomahawks. Doing a good job of focusing them down from behind the Kanya. And this fight's going pretty well for Lucas so far. 7 Hyena coming behind this, though, along with 5 Hyena going to be in queue. So Lucas has a pretty short window here to try and clean up this army.
I mean, he's certainly making use of it though. Even if he doesn't get this war hut and this force back, I think this trade is going insanely well for him. I mean, he's made sure he's got the snare on the tomahawks, and yeah, any tomahawk here is just going to get kind of picked off. Can he get the explorer as well? I think he's focusing that down
Yeah,
now. So
does
yeah,
get it.
100 XP from that.
Monk is in a nice place too, on top of these hyena. Um,
Oh, that he's going to leave him to die though. Just sacrifice the monk. Wow. I guess he needed to deal with the Kanya. I feel bad for the monk though. I feel like he was kind of expecting his teammates to sort of back him up there.
yeah, he was carrying, and then teammates didn't follow up.
Yeah, they're back now though, and I mean that's a lot of Chuko news. So like, Tech cannot deal with this Chuko new mass unless he
Yeah,
gets
there's no stable
Kanyas.
behind this either, so it's only going to be Aina coming to hold this. Picking off the Tomahawks right now, there's more Step Riders coming. It looks like he might be able to get the War Hut. Just
Yeah,
off of that
I'm pretty
Chuko
sure
mess.
I'm pretty sure I glanced the stable going up, but it's only just going up from Lecastet now, which means if he is making well, no, he hasn't got the wood for it. I mean, he's shipping the 400 wood and the 400 gold, so he will then have resources to make it. But obviously, he wants to click the age up to age 3 before that. But I mean, how does he then deal with this? Like
Yeah,
Lucas is just probably gonna head to his base, or maybe go for
oh,
the sea
he's
first. So you know
actually,
what, that
yeah,
dock might buy some time.
yeah, it looks like he's actually just walking towards the dock down here, and he's shipping 2 war junks. So he's just planning to clean up the water here. I'm not really sure that this is worth it. Like, there's only, I mean, he can't know that there's only 4 fishing boats. But, like, he could definitely do a lot of damage in the base right now. This could have been 700 coin, and he could be aging up a bit quickly. So this is definitely going to be slowing him down in exchange for hurting Lecastet's eco. We'll have to see if it ends up being worth it for him in the end. But this dock is definitely going down. Lecastet's just going to be completely giving that up. And to be honest, this is kind of good for Lecastet, it looks like. Like, this is buying him a lot of time.
Yeah, it's time he really needed as well. Because I think most of his villagers would have to be idle.
Oh, do you think these
If
live?
Tech wins it.
You think these just sit down here and live eventually?
If Lucas is paying attention, he'll know that you don't just build a dock to make 2 fish and chips. So we'll keep an eye on it because of course there's a lot going on. So Lucas's attention is elsewhere. But if he does remember, I think he'll search for it. But I mean, this stable's in an awkward position, and getting punished for that. Though he needs to
Anya
then deal
pop.
with the Kanyas.
That's a good pop. Gonna clean up a few Chukunu there. Pike's gonna get in position. Those Kanya are gonna have to run back. They're getting a lot of extra damage on this Warhead as well with the 2 Step Riders. They do have a lot of siege. So that's...
Yeah.
Potentially after he kills this army, he could rotate and just kill the War Hut quickly before he backs on out of here.
That's something I always found weird about that unit. Like all of its stats are rubbish, but surprisingly, its siege is not. It's got like really good siege.
They're tagged as a siege unit and a siege trooper, so.
Oh right, so I mean, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that war hut's really low. So, but I guess Lucas can't stay around to kill it. He knows there's a big shipment on the way. It could be forest prowlers or whatever. And yeah, no, so he does.
They tried to make their escape, but sadly were spotted. 8 forest prowlers out now. Lucas only now shipping 700 coin behind this. Looks like he did train some more like standard army behind this. I wonder if he could have just tried to age. I wonder if maybe he thought he had more time to do damage than he did. But yeah, he's going to be up really slowly behind this. And the Castet, I think, knows that he's trying to age at this point, so he's pushing, even with no anti-cav. Gonna go straight towards the vills with the Kanya. Thankfully, there are villages nearby to keep those villagers safe. And Lucas not gonna take too much damage here. We'll see if the forest prowlers can get anything done.
Yeah, you'd have to think there's not too much he can get done just because of how small his army is. I mean, we'll have to see because the forest prowlers can outrange everything, and I guess that's what they're gonna do. Um, these are veteran canyons, so they're not dying super fast.
Yeah, they're actually going to clean all of this up. Looks like he's only going to lose maybe 1 or 2 Kanya in exchange for 4-step rider and a monk and 6 pikes. It's not a bad deal. The Wonder still isn't down. About to get placed any second now with these Vills. Probably going to have to be the Confucian Academy for the skirmishers with this pressure. But he's not going to have any anti-cav to defend those for a long time. And the Castet has the cures on the way behind this. So
Oh wow!
this is going to be potentially a tough timing to hold.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, in terms of potential anti-cav, he'll have the minutes from the TC, but those by themselves definitely not enough to deal with 5 cures so early. Especially as well, we've got to remember that the Hodin Ashona Explorer's got the potential to do a crack shot, so it can kind of take down 2 or 3 pikes and maybe damage a few more immediately just before kind of a fight even happens. So yeah, I mean, Lucas needs age 3 units, and they're a ways off. But this market again, buying some time, a village, okay, that's fine. If you lose that, not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean those are easily replaceable. It's only a few hundred resources. So yeah, for sure he hasn't taken any fatal damage yet, but this is certainly looking a little bit scary with those cures coming behind this. He has the consulate up. He could actually train redcoats right now. He has the export for it. That would be pretty helpful for his composition here. Hopefully
He really needs
remembers.
them, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, here come the cures. This market's gonna go down. And Lucas will get up with the 8 skirms just now. No shipment ready either, so he's going to have to get those units in queue pretty quick. It's going to be the Forbidden Army, which is the perfect army against this composition right now. They kind of work as your pseudo-anti-cav as China. Throwing down a second War Academy in the back just because he's sitting on a lot of resources, or maybe he's kind of just planning to give up this War Academy. And all these yaks kind of in an unfortunate position right now where the forest prowlers can kind of reach any villagers gathering them, but he does have the food surplus, so maybe that's not a big deal.
Yeah, he did remember to get the redcoats, so they're on the way now, so they should arrive just in time. Is he popping these? He's popping them out the back, okay, which makes sense because his infantry isn't ready to engage yet. But I think the fact that Tet just saw them is enough to scare him away because he doesn't know that a shipment wasn't immediately on the way, right? There could have been a shipment as well, so Tet's just going to get back, kind of regroup, or reassess the situation. But yeah, Lucas, he kind of survived pretty well. The issue is Iroh's army, early age 3, is possibly just that a bit stronger, and it's got that better sort of kiting potential. So any big fight that happens, Tet can kind of keep kiting back with the forest prowlers, get a bit of extra damage done before they actually,
Yeah,
crash into each other.
Really hard to contest these forest prowlers for sure, as China right now. Losing that village is going to house him as well. He doesn't have a market up either. He lost the market, so he can't trade for extra pop space here. Gonna train disciples, I guess, to finish off this monk, and thankfully this Kanya, and thankfully they don't cost any population. But I think he kind of has to fight here because he can't get the resources he needs to get population space, and he's gonna lose this village. So yeah, he's gonna walk up and try to at least force Lukastet to back off. These Shukonu horribly outraged.
It is a good way to free up some population. Just take a fight. You're probably right. It's probably the smart thing to do. The question is though, does he win that fight? I don't think he possibly does. I mean, these choose and scale. Oh, is he going to get a? He gets a few nice picks actually, so it's not going too badly. But yeah, behind this, he hasn't fixed his housing problem throughout all of this. So he's got 200 wood now. That's obviously going to be spent on a house. But even one village, just it doesn't fix his problem. He needs another 200 wood as
He
well.
almost needs a
I
market
mean,
just to balance his economy, yeah. And he's going to
yeah,
lose this village, too. He's not going to be able to train units for a very long time.
it's a huge issue. This, even his summer palace is just not being able to
Yeah.
produce. So that's just half a batch on the summer palace lost.
He lost enough units there to get it, though. But now it's popped him. The Sara Palace badge has popped him, so he can't trade units. And these are not the units you want, so they're just gonna die. That's probably a good thing. He's gonna get a villain queue.
Oh, that's so
He's
sad.
lost so many vills on idle time, but he's got a villain queue now. He has 1 population space, so he can actually like train like decent units now, if he wants to. But
Okay,
he's not doing it
I
yet.
don't think I don't think you I don't think you can, right? Because you
No, you
need more
can.
than that's
No,
only percentage.
no. China can
Wait,
overpop.
is that a change?
No, no. China's always been able to overpop. But he's
Oh,
okay.
I
Yeah.
don't
So
play
he's
enough
overpopped. He's
China.
overpopped there. Um, so he will get 1 cav batch in. But yeah, I mean he's just been behind in army count for so long because of this. It's gonna take a look how many units he lost just now because he just like couldn't train army for so long and couldn't take a fight. This is brutal for him.
Oh, yeah. It's weird because at first it looked like he wasn't actually taking much damage, and he actually kind of got away. He made it up to age 3 without taking much damage, but it kind of just snowballed, and it's hugely hurt him. I mean, he's just sort of been floating 1,500 resources for the last 5 minutes, and he
And
hasn't really been able to
he hasn't
do
been
anything about it.
he hasn't been able to train vills this whole time either. Like just the like fact that he's like not fighting, not losing units, not like fixing the population issue has meant that he's lost probably at this point maybe 6, 7, or 8 vills just on the idle time alone.
He's
Like he's
he's
at
still
31
popped.
vills.
He's still housed. Oh, it's only just now has he got enough. Will he have enough once this house goes up? He'll be fine.
Thankfully,
But
intervention does not cost population.
yeah, I mean, he was sending repelling volley and then cancelled it. It's almost like he was choosing his shipments basically on ones that don't cost population. Was the criteria for what to send next.
Yeah, but he did fix the population issue. He's got units in queue now. Does finally get the Flying Crow from that academy. He's got intervention on the way, so he just needs a little bit more time to get the units out. I don't know if it's already too late at this point. The redcoats are out. There is a big cav mass, but there's a lot of musket riders as well. The Flying Crow could be helping in this skirm war a little bit. Unfortunately, it's idle at the moment, and many Chukonu lay down their lives for the cause.
Yeah, these forest prowlers are just sort of dominating the skirm war. I mean, there's the awkward thing about China fights. When you take a fight, you just kind of have to go in with everything. If you choose to do the kiting option, then quite often you just lose to the superior skirms on the other side, especially if it's forest prowlers. So I mean, Lucas is either going to have to watch his whole base die, or he's going to have to right click and
He's
go in.
housed again. He's been housed like 50% of this game.
Yeah, we do sort of need like a housed time and just to try and figure out exactly how much.
He's been at 31 vills.
I mean, yeah,
for so long.
vills, yeah.
48 now for LukasL. That vill timeline is going to be brutal. And another vill going to get picked up here. All these hunts just completely under LukasL's control at this point.
Wow, that's some aggressive coin mine gathering, but you can totally get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's apparently the only mine left, aside from this one, that he can use, so...
Yeah, I mean, this Flying Crow can just be taken out pretty easily as well. I wonder if he'd just use the Forest Prowlers. No, he's gonna... Okay, that's probably the sensible thing anyway, to not try and take out Forest Prowlers, especially when you've got Musket Riders that are very good against anti-artillery.
Yeah, and I mean, the Flying Crow by itself is not a huge threat. It kind of becomes a problem once there's 2 of them, but that's like a few minutes away at this point, so Like, it's getting some extra damage in here for sure, but it hasn't actually killed anything yet.
Yeah, it just seemed to be sort of the linchpin of Lucas's army though, that he can rally behind. The only thing, but yeah, I mean, Texas is going to go in, and the rest of the China army is just a little bit behind. So the Musket Rider's going to easily deal with that. So it only gets one shot off. And here we go. Here's the big right click, but there's too much red there. And some night kiting.
Yeah, and just getting lots of free kills here with the Musket Riders and the Forest Prowlers. At this point, like, the army size just seems heavily in favor of the Castet. The cavalry going to be coming in. Musketeers going into melee mode to try to clean those up, keep them off the skirmishers. But the cavalry for China, it's all dead behind this. There's nothing in queue. He's only just now queuing reinforcements, but by the time they're ready, this whole army will be dead. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the game. So, pretty clean win for Le Castet there. I think Lucas had a really strong timing, though.
Wow.
And he definitely had room to punish, right? But it feels like he kind of maybe wasted some time killing that dock and 4 fishing boats, when maybe he should have just gone for the base and maybe could have even ended the game. Because he was just so slow to age up behind that.
Yeah, I guess yeah, he didn't fully know how much damage he could have got done. Just went for the safe option and checked the dock, and yeah, that's why I wanted to see that Vel graph. Oh dear, that's I mean, you rarely see a flat line like that when a top player actually has a TC still standing. That just almost never happens. I mean, when did he age up to H3? It looks to be what, about 12 minutes, and then he's at 31 Vils.
13 minutes, yeah.
For like, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't get above that point for 5 minutes. And I imagine the military timeline is a little bit similar. Looks like he does get some units out in early Fortress, but then from that point he can't really train anything until he loses some units and eventually fixes the housing issue. So yeah, that was a rough game. Felt like it was it had like a solid chance to do something with that H2 play, and it just didn't work out for him in the end.
Yeah, missed opportunity perhaps, but we'll see if he can rally round and maybe pick up on those opportunities in the second game.
Yep, I'm just gonna restart my game quickly, just because when you are watching replays, it seems like they always play slowly unless you restart your game every time.
Oh yeah, did that play okay? Because
no, I think that one was playing pretty slow, and I think that's because
okay. Because on my
sorry, go on.
All right, I was going to say just because on the Discord feed that you sent me, it was it skipped a couple of times. It's fine for me, but I just wondered, was it okay on Twitch? Like, as long as the viewers there, as long as it shows okay on the video, then it's fine. But I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't think I dropped any frames. So I think
okay, so it's just the Discord thing. That's all right. Cool. No worries. I'll handle it.
Were you able to read the numbers on the screen?
Oh yeah. Nah, it's all right. It's all right. Just occasionally there was the odd teleporting unit, but you know, standard stuff.
Standard lag right there. All right, so we'll jump right into the next game. Oh, and quickly, before I forget, I will update the score.
Good idea.
All right, and I think we're good to go. All right, so Fertile Crescent going to be the next map here. And looks like Lucas gonna be busting out the Sioux. Lakota, as they're called now. They're called Lakota. They're called Lakota, not Sioux.
No, I was going to say you did so well in game number 1 with the Haudenosaunee. There wasn't a single hint of Iro. I was well impressed. And then as soon as we start this, boom, Sioux.
I'm sorry.
You know,
Old
all
habits die hard.
credibility just lost instantly. Wow.
Okay, well, at any rate,
Mm-hmm.
my casting deficiencies aside, uh,
Mm-hmm.
LukasL did have to pick his civilization first in this game. It looks like he went to pick Germany, and Lucas actually picked Sue or Lakota as the
Jesus Christ.
as the counter pick.
Wow.
So I wonder if he has something planned here in this matchup, or if it's just a matchup he's comfortable with. Um, so we'll see if he's got anything in mind. Looks like he's going to be chopping 100 wood for that TP. Going to be building that down here in the south, where it looks like he might actually be able to get the pass. So that's good on him. Germany, on the other hand, just going for the standard market. Chopping for that house, getting that hunting dogs in.
Yeah,
And
did
yeah,
we see what treasure Lucas got? Did he have to gather all of that 100 wood, or did he manage to pick one up? Because I know if you have to gather all the 100 wood, sometimes it can you get a bit of an awkward age up where you idle a bit on 16 villagers, which isn't a very nice feeling. Though
um,
yeah, getting this pass as you mentioned is going to be really nice, just coming in just in time.
yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like I'm able to actually check the chat history, so I'm not sure what treasures he got, but
Oh, right,
um,
okay. I shouldn't have asked. My bad.
I tried to check, but apparently pressing enter just changes the player perspective. So
Okay,
at least I know that
good to
hotkey
know.
now.
Yeah. Either way, though, him getting that pass is pretty big. You can see those 4 bills immediately queued, so that'd be nice either way. Um, yeah, and they're both sort of heading towards the middle here. So have we got any interesting treasures they might both be wanting to take here? It looks like a few coin
Yeah,
treasures.
there's an 80 coin and a 50 coin, which I think is going to go over to cast its Explorer any second now, probably. It's also an 80 wood, 100 food up top here, 5% population increase. Great for Sue, 30 minutes in, it'll finally be useful. Uh,
Uh, it's such a painful treasure. You're like, oh, 80 wood. I can use that to build my TP. Oh no,
no, it's
oh no,
only
it's the
5
crap one.
population.
Right.
I mean, it's still
Yeah.
worth 50 wood later in the game, unless you're Lakota.
Yeah, unless you look out to yeah. So yeah, not ideal. This coin is quite nice for Tep because it might allow him to get his TP a bit earlier because you can put 1 or 2 bills on coin in the transition, buy 100 wood, maybe get that TP up a little bit faster. Could get him an extra pass. So I'll be interested to see if he does that. But yeah, he's going up with the standard number of villages as you want as Germany, so 17 out of 20, and he might actually have a little bit of idle time here. Sometimes on Fertile Crescent, the hunts can be a little bit awkward to kind of get under your TC. So I suspect he might have a little bit of idle time just because he's still got 300 food left to go. But not the biggest of deals.
Yeah, it looks like there probably is going to be a little bit of idle time here. Um, Not going
So
to be the end
to
of the
be
world,
fair,
though.
sorry, I was going to say it always goes surprisingly fast at the end. It catches me off guard every time because you're always like, oh, I've only got 400 food. The last fill's training, but then you often just look later and it's like, oh, I've just got the 800 food anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got 16 vills with hunting dogs, they gather food pretty quick, so...
This is true. So yeah, he's not actually going to trade that coin, which is it's fine as well. Maybe he's sees this treasure. Is he going to? I think he gets there.
It looks
No,
like...
maybe not. Oh,
Looks
it's
like
a
he...
tough call.
Ooh, it's gonna be close. I mean, one more hit after this, and... Oh, I think...
Oh,
Yeah, Lucas got that. LukasL misclicking a little bit there, so doesn't manage to pick that up. Lucas will be pretty happy about that. And that wood treasure is going to be very useful, too, because he's actually going up with the messenger instead of 400 wood. So he's going to get up very quickly, but he's going to need a lot of wood to get buildings down. Looks like the 80 wood is actually going to let him get the market down before he gets his stable up. 4 Axe Rider is going to be the card of choice before LukasL can reach the second age himself. I'm going to try to put some early pressure on.
okay. Yeah, I'm very used to seeing Lakota age up with the 400 wood. Yeah, obviously the big advantage to go in the fast age up is being able to ship these 4 axe riders early. I feel like they need to get damage done to actually be worth it, though. I feel like they need to get a Vil kill or slow down the opposing player's building, which you might be able to do. So kind of stop a barracks or a stable being constructed. Otherwise, it feels like maybe a 5 would be more beneficial.
Yeah,
So we'll see if he can
it
get any damage done with those
it's
or not.
interesting that LukasL is choosing to prioritize scouting here rather than going for trading post. And it looks like he is actually going to lose his hero there, but he is going to spot the axe riders. One axe rider going to be split off. Looks like to go forward.
Yeah, that is an interesting decision because it looks like he actually gathered the wood for a trading post. He actually had 400
Yeah.
wood when he aged up, but then he
Um,
obviously
I'm a bit
just decided
confused
against
as
it.
to what these axe riders are doing at the moment.
I think they're gonna what? We thinking they're denying a TP despite
It
killing
looks
the
like he's
explorer?
it
Is that
looks like
what
he's like looking for like a
a
tower or
prop?
something, like looking for like expecting a tower rush or something. Like I'm not really sure what this is
Well, it
doing.
makes sense, right? Because German didn't build a TP, so what else can you build? It's an
Yeah,
outpost, a tower
that's
rush.
true. That's true. Looks like he's gonna come in though. He's gonna spot the barracks. He's gonna see the wood on the ground here, and he's gonna head straight on over to the base there. Yeah, that may maybe at the end of the day, the no TP was a giant mind game to get Lucas to not go straight to his base with the 4 axe riders. No, there's probably no way. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like those 4 axe riders
I mean,
didn't really get
it's kind
anything
of
done.
neutral, yeah, yeah. And Tech doesn't miss out on too much XP, as you've highlighted there. We got the church, so you can see that's zero point 0.6 experience per second. So not as good as a trading post, but as Germany, you do need the XP. And so if you're not able to build a trade post, build a church because, well, you need it as Germany, really. And he's adding in pikes in the meantime, so he should be able to defend his villages. Tool and raid, and all these hunts aren't the best controlled, so I expect at least the villagers can go down here.
Yeah, it
He
looks like
notices
he's
quickly.
it only takes 5 hits, I believe, or 5 or 6 hits to kill a Vil with an Ulan, so he will pick up that one quickly right before the bow riders come out. Meanwhile, though, back in the Castet's base,
Oh,
those pikes in the choke point, getting into a nice position, getting onto the bow riders now. Another batch of pikemen as well. And this trade, I mean, so far it's been pretty even, like 5 pikes lost for Le Castet for a few cav here. The bow rider,
I,
hmm,
yeah, I think it started even, but I think as Tet, you're going to be pretty happy for that. I mean,
yeah, I think,
getting even trades in this matchup is probably not what Sue wants. Sue always wants to be getting a good trade, otherwise it feels bad.
yeah, for sure. I think that felt very good to get rid of all the cavalry there, and there's a lot less pressure now. Um, Inside your base, like especially when your villagers are this far from your TC. I mean, granted, this is pretty
Oh
safe in the
wow,
back of his base, but if there was more axe riders left alive or any cavalry left alive at the end of that fight, like you can imagine eventually like Sue coming in from the side over here or something and just like running straight in before you can react and killing a few Vils potentially.
yeah, yeah. We can see Tet's playing it by the book. He's playing it safe, ship in the woods. Sometimes I would have been tempted to maybe after that good trade ship 700 coin and age up, but I think he's done the right thing shipping 700 wood, allow him to get out some crossbows so he can deflect these bow riders. Meanwhile, we see Lucas getting a bit of an eco shipment in himself, so he's shipping the Great Hunter, which if you're a Sue player, you will always want to ship that over Spice
Lakota.
Trade as it's slightly better. I think
You mean
it's
Lakota?
got like an extra 5. Oh, sorry, did I wait?
Yeah, you did.
For fudge. Oh,
That's
Christ.
probably my
All
fault
right.
because I got it in your head already this game. But
Yeah.
yeah, sorry to
You're right.
interrupt
Of
you
course.
though. Like
Exactly.
look, Great Hunter, yeah, is a great shipment as Lakota. I mean, like all of your your
It is.
units are super food heavy, like Axe Riders 160 food each. Um, so yeah, it lets your vills gather food a lot faster and last a lot longer, which is always super good. A wall being thrown down here from LukasL, which signals that now his settler wagons are on gold. He's probably going to be trying to go for an age up now, um, and he doesn't have a lot of units to defend this right now. 5 more pikes are going to come out. Maybe with the wall, he'll be totally fine here. We'll see if Lukas
Yeah.
actually gets anything done here. It looks like 2 Ulans also just staying active on the map. As soon as Lukas shows himself in line of sight here, those Ulans may choose to move in.
Yeah, and I think Tech's created a nice choke point for himself here. He's still got Minutemen. If Lukas chooses to commit, he can always call the Minutemen, maybe even block with some settler wagons. So even though Lukas clearly does have the bigger army, he probably can't engage. And as you said, yep, Ulan's coming in, and the trees, classic tree micro, doing work there, defending. He's actually going to try and punch with the Vills to kind of block a bit, which might work because he's got some Axe Riders just coming in now. Does lose a Vil for it, but maybe both Ulans will go down.
Yeah, it looks like they do both go down, but you can't be too unhappy about trading them for a Vil. It's still pretty early in the game. You got a lot of idle time on these Vils as well, so like those Ulans probably paid off just in the number of resources that these Vils didn't gather at the time that they idled. And those Ulans are not going to be super useful against a Bow Rider, Axe Rider anyway, so...
Looks like we've got a safety doppel in queue. I'm assuming that's what that is. So I imagine it will be cancelled or... yeah, I'm assuming it will be cancelled. He's just in case Lukas right-clicks his base, basically. He wants to have the option to be able to just click in those extra 4 doppels, and that will pretty much mean he can defend. But well, maybe we'll just leave it and just get a 1 dot batch and age up anyway. I think the coin's quite valuable, so maybe he'll save it.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna finish it. He cancelled the gang saw just now to complete the second dops there, so he's a little bit concerned about this cav mass for sure. And it's going to be coming in. Probably not going to be able to get too much done here with these units tucked away safely behind the buildings and the villagers reacting in time. Just going to come in and sort of get some intel on what's going on. He's going to see there's not a lot of units here. The Castet's super holed up in his base with the wall and everything. Like, he probably knows there's an age up coming, and he's sending 700 coin himself behind this to follow him up to the next stage, it seems like.
Yeah, and those 2 dops are going to actually be pretty valuable. As like I don't think Lukas has a good way of killing them. It's really hard to sort of micro them down. I'm not sure. Yeah, he hasn't focused them yet, so yeah, he's just gonna pull back.
Fighting in this choke
He's
point's a
sticking
bit
around.
optimistic.
I think he's sticking around because he wanted to sort of try and deny the stable a little
Yeah.
bit. He saw it was being produced, but
I wonder if
or building.
instead of going for the settler wagon with his axe riders there, he possibly could have just come in and sieged it. But maybe just the pathing wasn't super favorable for him there. Didn't really have the opportunity to do that. But at the end of the day, like LukasL actually got quite a few kills on the bow riders and axe riders there, and I think he's pretty happy with that trade overall.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty nice age too. The only thing he has to be aware of now is that he still doesn't have a trading post, so shipments are going to be rolling in not that fast. I know he has the church, but it's not a TB. And Lukas does have 2 TBs. So I think Tet probably can't just sit in his base. He might need to kind of push out and siege one of the TBs maybe, or try and take his own. Otherwise, if you don't have a big fight, and you don't have TPs, you're just not going to get those shipments rolling in this Germany, which is kind of their strength.
Yeah, it looks like that is what he's going to try to do, is try to do something active on the map with that war wagon shipment before Lukas can hit the next age. He knows that Lukas has used the fast age up politician already to the second age, so this window is potentially pretty big for him. But he doesn't have a lot of units here, even with that shipment. Two dops also being split off top to go kill a trading post, and it looks like even 5 pikes being split to go down and siege the southern trading post, so he might clean up the TPs here, but he's probably not really going to be able to do anything in Lukas's base. But he's going to try.
Yeah, that's actually ambitious. I wonder if Lucas is going to pounce on this. Tet really needs these extra 4 war wagons, but if Lucas doesn't pounce before they arrive, then he'll be all right. Because yeah, Lucas will be able to see the pikes and the dots, right, sieging both TBs, so he knows they're not there. So he's actually going to go in here. There's a few pikes to kind of stop the advance. Tet needs to buy time till he gets these extra four war wagons, which presumably are crossing the map right now. Are they going to arrive in time, though?
They
Quite.
are going to
So
get
he's
here.
having to, yeah, kind of half in time, but not really.
Yeah,
Like he's paid a bit for it.
the nice thing about the war wagons in this situation is that they take like no damage from axe riders. Because axe riders, unlike other cav, have a negative multiplier against ranged cavalry, and there's 20% melee resist on these war wagons, so like these war wagons are not dying at the moment. Bow riders are trying to kill them, but this actually looks like a really good trade for the Castet at the end of the day. Like that was like 20 axe riders, and there's like no axe riders left behind this. There's 3 left, 1 more going down, so 2 left behind this.
Wow. Yeah, that went a lot better for Tet than I thought, and I think that's just as you say, those the way the multipliers work on the axe riders. That's something I hadn't really thought too much about before, but yeah, the 0.75 that really hurt him there. He might
Yeah,
be able to get these 5 pikes relatively for free though.
it's the
But I mean, he's
consolation
lost both his
prize.
TPs. Yeah, it's not much of a consolation prize, is it? Because I mean, Tech kind of wants to throw these pikes away anyway.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get out of there somehow. Luckily escaping with their lives. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Castet's in a pretty good position now. He's able to leave his base relatively safely. He's gathering on these mines and these hunts. Um, and he's got, like, his Fortress Age unit composition starting to get going. He killed both the trading posts. He got a pretty good trade with that army now. And he's got Doppelsoldners apparently scouting for villagers in the fog. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, he's feeling good right now. And Lucas is just sending his shipments, getting his units rolling. He's actually sitting on enough food for his big button, if he wants to call it. He's probably gonna wait, maybe just sit in that food for another minute or two so he can get the extra dog. But he's gonna have that big button ready whenever he wants. So maybe even despite everything, Lucas is still in a good position with these hunts under his TC. He's got that great hunter eco, the age up bonus, the 20% hunting on that the age up politician to the fortress age. Um, but there's going to be
oof.
a raid killing a few vills here.
Yeah, that raid is actually quite painful. And yeah, I mean, Germany's got a few Ulans to spend. The other advantage, of course, of Germany having taken that fight was it allowed them probably just to get an extra shipment or 2 in, which allows you to get extra Ulan, which allows you to do extra raids and get extra vills. It does get them cleaned up though, but I think that was worth it. It looked like he got at least 2 vills, 3 vills even, and forced some idle time there.
Yep,
So
looked like
it's
at
not a
least 3
bad trade.
vills. Yeah, he can't be unhappy about that. That's for sure. Um, yeah, Lucas still stacking tons of food, so that dog big button's definitely on the table. Behind this, maybe anticipating it a little bit, since it's approaching that 15-minute mark when the dog button sort of becomes worth it. The Black Rider is going to be coming in to give him some extra anti-cavalry. Not in quite yet, though. We'll see if the Castet can actually do anything, maybe, or Lucas can do anything, maybe, on this gold mine, or this hunt up top, even.
Yeah, actually, Tech's composition is very anti cav heavy, especially if he's adding these black riders in as well. And we do have a sizable Wakina mass, so at the moment Lucas's composition looks quite well suited, but maybe there's just not enough Wakinas. It's hard to see. It's certainly forcing the Vills back. Oh, and the War Wagons are going to path into the Wakinas, so that's done quite nicely. He's going to have to get right back from that. Well, he gets Settler Wagon as well that's passing around. I assume on his way out. We'll see.
Yep, the Black Riders are out, though. A couple villagers going to get picked off. So he killed at least 5 or 6 vills there, it looked like, and, you know, almost got a war wagon, didn't really lose any units, so that was a really nice pickup for Lukas, for sure. And he's just going to get on out of there without really suffering any extra losses. This gold mine's potentially a little bit exposed too. Looks like he's just going to move those vills back just in case, because his army's so out of position. But Lukas not going to spot that in any case. Sitting on 2,300 food right now. He could call. It's 15 minutes now. He could call the big button after this villager if he wants to.
The thing is, you don't want to call it unless you really need it. But it's like it's a good civ to if you don't want a macro, right? Because
you'll always have something to dump the resources into. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to, he could, like, if he doesn't need the units, like as you're saying, he could just sit on those resources for another 2 minutes and get an extra dog soldier. But at the same time, like, if he has these, like, these resources were spent on units right now, like, he has nothing in queue, but he has 3,000 resources in the bank. Like, he could have a huge army right now.
Yeah, no, that's also true, and I wonder if though he's shipping the dogs. He's shipping free. Oh, sorry, they've changed the name. It's the
Tokala.
How do we say those? Tokala soldiers. Right. Okay. Oh,
I didn't actually realize that name had been changed in DE, so I'm gonna have to get used to that as well.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, this is classic Sue tactics. Like, he had those on the way because he thought a fight was going to happen, but as soon as he realizes that a fight's not going to happen, you cancel it and ship a cav upgrade, basically just delaying the fight as long as possible until you have free cav upgrades. You know, everyone's like 200 pop, and then you can ship the Tokala soldiers. Oh wow, okay, that's I mean, he might be forced into a fight here though, just because of those villagers that quite very tempting.
Yeah, but looks like he's not going to take the fight. I think at this point, Lukas is kind of committed to waiting for the 18-minute mark for that big button. So he's trying to avoid fights until then. He's got 2 of his cav upgrades in as well. So he's probably going to wait until the dogs come, maybe even until he gets another cavalry upgrade, so he can have those, like, really, really strong Tokala soldiers. But I can't help but feel like he's missing, like, a window a little bit here. Maybe he doesn't have to fight. I mean, like, these resources are kind of running out. Like, this mine only has 500 coin on it. There is a mine up here that he could use. But the hunts are also kind of running out, so maybe he doesn't actually have to pick a fight now, and maybe waiting is actually the best thing he could do, because he'll actually get to pick a fight sort of in a better location in a minute from now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think Lakota actually does need to take a fight. I think they only really want to take a fight when they have all 3 cav ups in, and yeah, take it out in the open, as you say, on one of these coin mines or one of these more exposed hunts, just where he knows Germany can't kind of retreat back into his base, maybe use the buildings to try and stop Lakota getting a good surround or some trees. So, I mean, that's the other important thing that you have to consider in this matchup. Lakota really needs to take the big engagement, oftentimes in an open environment. Though then again, having said that, he doesn't really have many axe riders at the moment, so there's maybe not too many pathing issues.
It's interesting that he's decided to make so many bow riders when he's seen his opponents going mostly like skirm goon type of composition.
And we even have the Jaegers in, so actually LukasL's Jaeger and skirm is a lot more scary than these Wikinas, and it's going to force Lukas back. Like, you can't trade even volleys against Jaegers and skirms, even if they were even numbers, which they're not. I think he actually has more Jaegers and skirms here. So Lukas either has to get back or just completely go in. And he's calling the big button, so
yeah, I think he wants
to keep this position.
Yeah, he's waiting for the big button to go in here. The question is if he's going to miss his opportunity to fight. the Tukala soldiers are in now. They're going to be heading on to the fight. Looks like the unit's going to be moving forward. The War Chief's going to try to get a snipe, but he doesn't have any cavalry here to snare aside from the War Chief, and it's not going in right now. And there's getting like a lot of really good like kills from LukasL here onto the Lakota army. War Dance is coming in behind this as well. 16 villagers dancing for 17% more damage. But everything's just getting picked off here. The pathing is not really working in Lucas's favor here. The Wakina kind of getting stuck behind the bow riders, and the hand cavalry not really able to get the snare that they'd like. And it looks like Lukas is just going to be forced to back off here.
Wow, the Takala soldiers were dealt with pretty nicely. I mean, that's the one scary timing when you go up against Lakota, and Tet just dealt with it very well. He didn't lose too much, and they've all gone down. So yeah, I mean, Lukas is going to try for another one because he's shipping 3 of them, but it's it's a lot less scary. He would really need to catch LukasL out of position here. He does get his Explorer back, which is a very tanky unit, so good on him for doing that. But he's just going to lose these skirm trades again.
Yeah, the Jaegers are really dominating this fight right now, and there's no counter units out for them. The Bow Rider is going to just go right on top, looks like, trying to get the snare with the War Chief again. The Wakina pushing up, getting some snipes onto the War Wagons before those 3 Tukala soldiers can arrive. And this is looking like a decent trade for Lukas. But it doesn't look like he has much steam behind this, maybe. The reinforcements coming. Lots of reinforcements coming, actually, so maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, he gets some okay reinforcements, but there's nothing else coming behind that because, of course, you've got 16 villagers on the community plaza, and that obviously means that your reinforcements aren't going to be the best.
Yeah, he's also his Bison has run out under his TC, so he doesn't actually like have anywhere to send these villagers unless he wants to walk all the way over to that hunt on the other side of the cliff. Yeah, and he's really trying to force a fight here, like with these villas on the fire pit. Keeps dancing that War Chief back. He keeps going back in, but he just can't get the snare because he doesn't he can't pick the fight he wants because he doesn't have any units really to snare. These dogs maybe could have got a snare there, but they're grouped with the bow riders. But this is looking still okay for Lukas. I mean, like, he's got the Wakina advantage now over the skirmishers, and he's picking up kills on these Black Riders and War Wagons, and actually, he's coming out on top at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing okay. I'm just looking at the score though, and Tet's eco is definitely stronger behind this. So I think Lukas needs to be doing more than okay. Yeah, and there's still the odd Jaeger here, so there's a lot of power left in this. Though he's carrying on pushing it back. Quite surprised how well his Wakina are doing.
Yeah. Oh, behind this though, 9 Ulans coming out for LukasL, and pretty much all the anti-cav has been cleaned up aside from these 4 bow riders, and there's not really anything else moving across the map here. And even though these are unupgraded Ulans, this could actually be a really good catch for LukasL, and he's going to get right in there. 3 Ulans from the stable as well. The house is kind of going to block him a little bit, but he's going to get right on top of the Wakina. The bow rider is going to get focused down by the war wagons and the skirmishers here. And he's going to clean up this whole army. And I don't think Lukas has anything coming behind this. He's got his Axe Rider shipment on the way, but really that's it. And he's going to call it.
Did you see that? Just as the Ulans came out the town center, he deleted both his wall segments. Didn't I don't know if he had
I didn't see that, but that was good.
Just basically making sure that he didn't let that opportunity pass him by, and made sure he snared those Wakinas and cleaned him up. So 2-0 for Tet. He's looking pretty strong in this series.
Yeah, he definitely is. That's a very classic way to win with Germany. You just wait until both players have sacrificed half their army, and then you go for a giant cav switch when the other person has no anti-cav.
Yeah, the the best thing about it is, of course, is that it takes zero effort to make a cav switch as Germany. You just right click like one 9 shipment and that's it. Cav switch complete.
Yeah,
and
pretty much, yeah.
and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the army counts are pretty even this whole game. It looks like a good trade for the Castet. Eventually, once they hit the once Lucas hit his timing on the big button. Um, it's just Lucas. I feel like Lucas was sitting on those resources for a long time, and
Mm,
maybe he could have like tried to make something happen sooner. Or maybe like even just his unit composition was maybe too bow rider heavy. Like something about his unit composition, I feel like just like made it so he wasn't really able to take the fights that he really wanted in that game. And the
yeah,
Castet did a really
yeah,
good job of taking the trades with the skirmishers, not getting caught out by the few like hand cavalry units that were available to snare him, and yeah, ultimately he picks up the win at the end of the day.
yeah. I think credit to him for choosing a good unit composition as well to react to what Lucas was doing because I could easily be tempted to add in a few extra Ewlands, but I think they would have sort of been a kind of a complete waste, and the bow riders would have completely destroyed them as soon as they had an engagement. So I quite like that he stick to Skirm, Jaeger, Black Rider, War Wagon. I think that was a works quite nicely for what he needed in this match.
Yeah, definitely did. So we're gonna moving into the third game. Just restarting my game quickly before we jump into it. I'll start the screen share for you in a moment, Wicked.
Good, good. Anyway, so what's happening? I thought like Lakota was S tier. What's going on? I casted 2 Lakota games this evening, right? And it's 0-2 from the new tier 1 Civ. Um, I feel I've been sold a lie.
I don't know what to tell you. They still looked pretty strong there, I feel like, but maybe just there's still room to outplay, which is
Right,
good.
okay.
All right, let's see. 3. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? I'm not forgetting anything, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, looks good from what I can see. So we got match points. So Lucas absolutely needs to win this if he wants to stay alive, or well, stay in the series anyway.
Yep, and looks like the Civ to do that is going to be China again. So picking it again. He did lose with it in the first game, but it is a Civ he's very comfortable with, and even though he lost in the first game, I think he was in a pretty good position at one point and just kind of didn't make the most of it. Gonna be giving it another try. And the Castet on the other side, going to be playing India.
Oh, nice.
Haven't seen this one all tournament long, I believe.
No, it's a cool matchup. Yeah, no, Tet's
Oh,
been playing
actually,
a fair amount of India recently, or I sort of see him on stream, kind of playing India regularly. It's always a fun civ to watch. They've got kind of they do quite a number of different strategies. So yeah, interested to see what he chooses to do here. I imagine China probably be a bit more traditional, kind of just take a TP and age up, well, taking the TP in transition, sorry, not in age one, and then just go up to Fortress. So it'll be on India to maybe decide if he wants to be aggressive in age two or kind of follow China up to age three, or even Cebu.
yeah, I mean, he certainly has a lot of options, that's for sure. Um, I think I need to actually turn my shadows on quickly because I can't see units behind trees without it. But yeah, I'm going to actually correct myself quickly. I said this is maybe the first time we've seen India in the tournament, but now I'm thinking about it, that's totally wrong. I think H has played it a few times already, so it's definitely been picked. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how this matchup plays out because I think traditionally India does not do super well against civilizations that like to go for super fast fortress builds, like China. Um, So I would expect like China to normally have the advantage in this matchup, and I wonder how LukasL's going to approach that.
Yeah, you as India, you kind of you have to do something. It does feel a little awkward. So yeah, maybe some aids to aggression. I've seen on his stream. He does like to play a bit aids too. Um, Even just stay in age two. Actually, I think I've seen Hazard do that as well, where they just kind of commit to age two, just because you've got all the units right. You've got the Zams, you've got the Gurkhas, which are your scams. So you have that option just to stay age two and never age up. Oh no! Wait, who's shipping the someone was shipping the dock thing. That's China, right?
China,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I believe he got a wood treasure. I can't check, but the reason this works with China is because you don't slow down your age up, even though you're not getting any vills from your shipment, because you're not chopping the wood. But then you get a lot of fishing boats out of it, especially like because you already have 100 wood left over from your crates, and then if you get any extra wood from treasures, it's just extra fishing boats. So his economy will be pretty good in this game. It looks like with that wood treasure, he's going to queue up 4 boats right away. There's no fish near this dock though, which is a bit unfortunate. There's just a lonely whale,
Mm,
and all the fish is way up here. So if ever LukasL chooses to ship like caravels or something, they're not really gonna have anywhere to run except for maybe the 4 vills that he leaves on this whale. He's also gonna have to walk pretty far to scout for that. So that's a bit unfortunate, but probably not going to be the end of the world, and LukasL's probably not going to send a shipment to punish this anytime soon.
yeah, I mean, well, first of all, you'd probably have to scout it. You would need to get confirmation on that. I mean, we do have the elephants moving in now. We got forward aggro from LukasL. So taking a bit of the map opens up the option for him to be aggressive in age two. I wonder if he will scout the dock or if he's literally just trying to check the age up time, just trying to get a sense of what Lucas is up to.
Well,
So I mean, he's just
if he's checked the deck
yep.
and he's seen in the base that there's not 2 villages and there's no trading post for China, like assuming that China also has northern refugees, yeah, okay. Like he can probably assume that there's a dock, but maybe
Right,
he
go
hasn't
full
confirmed it
Sherlock
yet
Holmes
though.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if he's on top of reading the situation.
yeah.
The thing is, like, maybe the fact that there's a dock out for China doesn't really change much. Like, if Lucas wants to really dock boom, he's not going to be able to really get Fortress very quickly. Um, and that's kind of, like, not somewhere China wants to be. So, it's... You're not really expecting there to be a lot of eco invested into the water very early on. So, he could... It's potentially he's just not very concerned about it as well.
Yeah. So it looks like Tech's opted to go for the market, so we got no early consulate shenanigans, and actually choosing not to go for the trading post. So I imagine it's just going to be sort of maybe shipping possibly foreign login first, but still building units, and then maybe trying to hit a timing later with Force Hours and maybe 3 Ottoman Hussars as well. That's quite a common thing that we've seen Indians do a lot recently. Seems to work well against these civs that go up to age 3 quite quickly. So we've seen it used against Germany, possibly see it here against China as well.
Yeah, it looks like that is potentially what he's going for. It looks like he's going to grab a couple of market upgrades in transition. It looks like Lucas is going to be playing in the second age again. He's not investing his wood into more boats, and he's not building a trading post with his hero, so that wood's going to go straight into a war academy or a second village. 700 wood going to be the first card. So it looks like he's maybe anticipating some early pressure and going to prepare for it. We'll see if he opts to try to break the aggro fort at some point, but that's usually tough to do.
And really nice scouting from LukasL as well. Like if you go in as India here and you see immediately that the other guys just dropped like a war academy, then that's really useful information because you know that you don't need to immediately put everything into units. There is queuing up some Seaboy actually, so he does still want to have some army there out on the field, as opposed to just going full into market tech. So maybe he's still going to try and poke at the front a little bit. And we got 700 wood on the way as well. So presumably just going to drop a consulate from that, stable, all the usual good stuff.
Yep, they're going to be the stable and the consulate going down, maybe finishing off those market techs. And looks like maybe going to be adding in some Gurkha as well, which are usually pretty strong against H2 China. They outrange all of the infantry, and steppe riders are not known for being the most amazing cavalry in the world. So the Gurkha is usually pretty safe. 600 wood coming for Lucas behind this. Going to be dropping down a market. So it looks like he's going to be going for potentially a later timing, or maybe he's just playing a little bit greedy. Like, India's normally a little bit slower, and so getting the value out of the 600 wood as opposed to a unit shipment might be worth it. And he knows he has the time to do that.
He's actually adding in another boat as well. So yeah, it just seems to sort of be a bit of everything at the moment. I think sort of the main issue for China at this point is he doesn't necessarily have a complete read on India. I appreciate it's probably quite hard to actually scout India at this point. The main information you get is when they kind of poke at your front door. But it'd be sort of useful to know if like India are they going full market tax or here we go. Actually, Lucas has got a scout in the. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe a disciple, but he's so an injured disciple just kind of looking around. Not really sure he's actually going to find too much there, but it would be nice to see if you get a read on whether that consulate's gone up or not. Unfortunately, just missed it there.
Yep, didn't see the consulate going up.
More boats as well. 2 more fishing ships.
Yeah, maybe that's the main reason behind sending the double wood shipments, is you can just continue the boat production, get your economy growing. And you obviously can still continue training units behind it. Yeah, 700 coin would be coming in next, so he is going to be trying to age behind this.
And yeah, you have to feel that's when he's going to get attacked.
This is LukasL's moment to push in. He's feeling pretty safe, probably, with this amount of anti-cav, and the Gurkhas can sort of lead the charge, and they have a big line of sight, and they outrange everything, so he's not super worried. Monk's going to come in, just try and get a scout off. He's going to spot the consulate up here. Not allied yet. Second village, or third village going down in the back. He didn't spot a wonder, and he did see Vils still chopping wood, so LukasL may be expecting that there's not going to be an age-up coming just yet.
Ooh. Yeah, he does need to pull his Summer Palace batch back, though. To punish that a little bit. To put the pikes down for free. Almost no one of the shoes. So
wow.
yeah, Tet actually shipping 700 coin. What's up?
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was looking at the wrong player at the time. I thought maybe Lucas had actually canceled his 700 coin to send Chukonu, but yeah, I think I was probably looking at the wrong player. Never mind.
He might have done. I feel like I saw him send it as well, but yeah, he certainly wasn't at the point where he was committed to age 3. So yeah, has decided to stick in age 2. And yeah, once these Chukonus get out, his Chukonu mass is going to be really quite good, and should certainly push these Gurkhas and Sepoys back. Even though they are outranged, just the sheer number should be able to accomplish that.
Yep. Looks like he is going to be safe for the time being. Going to be canceling his British alliance. No, he's allying with British, sorry. So going to be getting the extra 7% hit points on all of his units. And get access to those red coats later on in the game. He's pretty far away from aging, though. And this is sort of hitting the point where India starts to actually take off. Like, he's going to be able to age himself. He's going to be up before China, even. And his economy is sitting pretty strong, although Lucas does have the fishing boats behind it to sort of help match that economy, as well as the wonders sort of helping a little bit more economically than maybe India's do.
Yeah, so I think Lucas is going to start to suspect what's up when he sees that LukasL isn't pressuring him anymore. And then there's going to be that moment where he decides, ah, crap, I'm going to need to actually do something with this army. And we might see him move forward and try and seize that aggro. Or he might just be content to age up, but behind India. That it doesn't. If that wouldn't feel the best. If I'm the China, you always want to be aging up beforehand. So yeah, I guess he probably doesn't capitalize on it, right? There's probably not much he can do against the map out. I assuming that's what LukasL will age up with. It's quite the common thing.
Yep, that is going to be the Charminar Gate, which is going to give him that Mahout Lancer. I mean, Lucas probably does have the army to push this. He just doesn't have the information to know that he actually has those units. And yeah, I mean, as you said, like, he's not going to have much tempo aging up behind this, but at least in the Fortress Age, like, that's where China wants to be. That's where they can get all of their strong units and shipments and upgrades. And, you know, this army right here, even though these Chuko Nu and Krang Pikemen are not the most useful units, their upgrades are very cheap. Only 100 wood and 50 coin. So he'll be able to, like, easily upgrade this army. And I don't think he'll be too upset about hitting Fortress behind India, as long as he's actually in Fortress.
Yeah, his eco's pretty good. We can see he's even getting the fishing upgrade, and he continued to add boats right up until just now, actually. Again, though, yeah, we're seeing him age up with the Skirmond. I've seen a lot of that today. That's what happens when you age up as China, like behind the other Civ, right? You feel that you need to age up with that Scaremonger, and oftentimes you do, but that just means you don't have the tower, which is like it's about 8 villages, right? Which is such a big it's a huge amount of eco that then you don't have for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Unless you age up to age 4.
At the same time, though, I mean, those 8 skirms, that's a lot of, like, immediate value. So it takes some time for the Porcelain Tower to pay off, and then the Flying Crow in this matchup in particular is actually kind of useful because India doesn't have the best anti-cavalry options. And, you know, if you have one Flying Crow that's, like, slowly sieging his base or, like, you know, killing some infantry, and India feels like they have to send siege elephants for one crow, that's kind of a win for you, so it's okay against India for sure, but yeah, you would definitely prefer the Porcelain Tower.
Yeah. Are those Gurkhas being tapped to veteran yet? I can't tell on the skin.
They're not yet, but it's about to complete.
There we go. Yeah.
But the skirmishers are gonna pop probably in the next 10 seconds or so. Losing a few Chuko Nu here is not the end of the world. These units are basically free, 85 food each. So, but the Mahout gonna be coming in just to sort of tank some shots for the Gurkha maybe. Skirmishers finally out. The market does go down. And yeah, just under a lot of pressure right now to match these Gurkha with only the handful of skirmishers here. No shipment available either for Lucas behind this, so he's kind of going to be waiting on that. He hasn't queued any units yet either. He's queuing the upgrades first, which makes sense. I mean, he has a lot of units left over. Trying to throw down a second War Academy so that he can get those techs and get units rolling at the same time. But all of this is going a little bit slowly, and not going to be able to really do anything to LukasL's army, but at the end of the day, I mean, LukasL came in, killed a few units, picked off like a vill or two, and killed a market, and that's kind of about it. So he didn't really get too much accomplished either on his end.
I've always felt that the biggest issue with China staying age 2 is it just like ruins your shipment curve. It looks good in age 2 and you're like keeping up and it all seems good, but then when you get to age 3, you just don't have a shipment. And like often that's what China needs, is where they just ram in military shipment after military shipment. And you can't do that if you stay age 2 for like 10 minutes. And so he's just not been able to get those shipments in, whereas we can see India most certainly has just got a big shipment in the free map out. So he'll be very pleased with this one. So China's going to struggle to deal with this. It's going to be pretty hard to micro against that when your anti-cav is pretty much all melee units. I guess he's got the 6 red coats, but even still, those map outs are just going to sit on that wonder, and Lucas is going to have to come to him.
Yeah, he's sitting on this shipment right now. He's not sending anything for some reason. Doesn't have any units in
Oh,
queue either. Like, he's sitting on all these resources. And this wonder is
it,
just gonna
it,
go down for free as a result.
maybe he still thinks he's housed from the first game. I like.
I mean, he was actually housed for a moment there, to be fair.
All right, right,
Like, he
fine.
was at 110 out of 110 um, for a long time, until he completed probably this village up here, or maybe an upgrade on his villages. Um, so maybe he just didn't realize that the upgrade had completed, that he had the population space available right away. But yeah, it's definitely costing him big time here, not having that shipment on the way or those units out in time to defend this. Losing the Wonder, it's worth about like 5 villagers. Thankfully, he did have an army pop from it right before it went down, so not the end of the world for him. Like, it's going to be several minutes, or 2 or 3 minutes before that really matters. But it looks like he's going to be trying to fight here. His shipment's in. He's got some cav pouches out. And he has probably enough anti-cav to dissuade these elephants for the time being.
Yeah. Also, it's going to be awkward if he tries to take the fight between these sort of two tree clumps. Though again, the map outs will be a little bit affected themselves. But yeah, no, I don't think you really want to take the fight between there. A quick question for you. I've noticed you're a big fan of the phrase "not the end of the world" tonight. Just wonder, was there anything behind that?
Nope. My brain just reuses the same statements a lot when I'm casting, so if I use it once, I
I get,
probably use it
yeah,
every game.
I get, yeah, yeah, exactly. I get the same thing. But yeah. So yeah, that was it was a shame that Lucas maybe wasn't able to force a fight there because I think that was potentially like his uh, kind of a nice timing for him. But yeah, just not able to take that amongst the trees. So he's been forced back, and we can see that Tet's score is just sort of taking a bit of a lead now. India always scales really well into these sort of mid late game situations. Well, it's 15 minutes, so let's just call it the mid game, not the late game. But regardless, this is when they start. You know, their eco starts scaling pretty
Yeah,
well.
and
Um,
and I think he's like completed like his all his market techs and everything. Lucas still lagging a little bit behind on the market techs, it looks like, on top of not having the map control to really make use of it very much. And yeah, looks like Castet finally feeling confident enough to push in here. He's got enough Gurkha to sort of push away these skirmishers. And that's all. He's content to do that. He doesn't have to go in with the Mahouts or anything right now. He just is content to take the better trades with the skirms and really just choke Lucas out of this game. Like, he knows he has complete map control. Lucas is not out on the map at all. He's in no rush to take a fight in this game. He knows, like, it's on Lucas to try and make something happen. And all he has to do is apply a little bit of pressure to get the value he needs.
Yeah, he got even more map outs coming in as well, and he's going to have 10 extra Gurkhas and 6 extra Redcoats. So, like, Tech's getting even more reinforcements, like, in the next minute or so. So, if Lucas thinks his army, if Lucas thinks Tech's army is scary now, it's going to be even more scary in, just a few seconds. So, yeah, he needs to go now. And actually, he gets his own skirms. We got the Crow as well, but that's going to take a while, admittedly, to get involved in the fight, so it might not reach it. But Lucas is certainly aiming to try and cut their Castet off, though. The Tet's 2 map outs do actually arrive in time. So, yeah, it's going to be a hard one to break for Lucas. He needs to get some anti-cav at the top to defend those 2 map outs, which he does.
Yeah, this positioning is a bit awkward for both players at the moment. Units not quite where they want to be, but it looks like Lucas is going to be getting the snare, and the pike's going to be going straight on in. Going to start tanking some damage. You can't afford to lose too many of those with the Mahouts sort of not joining the fight yet. If all the anti-cav gets cleaned up, that could be a problem for him later on. So gets a few trades in there, but this choke point behind the gold mine and the trees is maybe too much for Lucas's melee-focused army, and so he's going to have to back on out of there with the cavalry and the melee infantry and just sort of take the skirm fight, which again is still pretty good for the Castet. A couple elephants sort of straying into the fight to say hello and then backing on out. And
Yeah, Tet's really
this
abusing.
crow would actually be huge here, but I think Lucas has kind of maybe forgotten about it in the heat of the moment here.
Yeah, I was going to say Tet's really using this position well. I think he knows he's got a good position here with this gold mine and the trees sort of making the pathing for the China army really awkward. So I think he was hanging around there for quite a while, taking some good trades because he's got so many sepoys and Gurkhas which are ranged units against the melee units of China. And now after those good trades, he's confident enough to move in. But yeah, if this crow can start helping out, that would be big. So yeah, it's slowly been. God, that's so slow. It's not going to get there, is it?
It might never get a
Come on,
shot off.
Mr. Crow.
No, he's turned around.
Oh,
No,
oh
he's coming
no!
back.
Don't turn around!
Come on!
Took him half an hour to get here.
Bombs away, doing almost no damage because it's one crow.
Oh, it's such a disappointment. The pikes are in an okay position, but there's so many map outs to deal with. I don't think he's going to be able to get them all. The crow does go down, though it probably wasn't even that important to be honest. Oh, and the Uramis as well. I didn't even see those up until now, so those are just an extra issue that Lucas has to deal with.
Yeah,
I think Tet is cleaning this up really nicely.
Yeah, there's kind of no anti-cav left after this, and there's still 4 Mahouts up. And a couple of Urumi, lots of Sepoy behind this. There's some cav coming out for Lucas, but it's not going to defend against 4 Mahouts by themselves. He's got a shipment available now, but he doesn't really have the time to wait for it to arrive. LukasL's really forcing the issue now. Could maybe call Minutemen here to try and buy a little bit of time. But it looks
That's optimistic, isn't it?
maybe a little bit optimistic, but yeah, it looks like that's going to be the end of the game. Lucas going to be tapping out there, and a really dominant performance from LukasL in this series, taking it 3-0. And yeah, he played really, really well in this last game. Really like controlling all of the fights with those Gurkha, and playing very patiently, like recognizing that he's ahead, that he has the map control, that he's ahead in tech, and probably economy. And so yeah, just like really cleanly played from him, and well-deserved win.
Yeah, pretty impressive series there by LukasL. So unfortunately for him, though, he did lose versus Keister, I believe, maybe last week. So he has given himself a shot at staying in this competition. I think he needs. Well, yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly how the matchups will work, but I think he's still in it. Basically, he obviously needs someone else to beat someone else, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at this group too closely either. I imagine it means he probably has to beat Kanisi in order to advance.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, there probably has to be some other conditions where someone else beats someone in order for him to get through. But a 3-0 definitely helps him if there is like a 3-way tie or something at some point. Having the extra wins is going to help him out there. So.
Oh, actually, yeah, it's not completely important. Yeah, as Harrison says in chat, right? So Kainese has to beat Keister, which you could see happening, and then Tet would obviously have to beat Kainese, which is hard, but Tet's a good player and can certainly do that. So yeah, no, he does actually have a shot.
Yep,
That's
that's
actually
certainly
reasonable.
doable.
Yeah.